Good enough those. Thanks again for tuning in to yet another video. Infamous coming at you live from the West Coast yet again, San Jose, California. So we are doing another reaction video. This video is about an hour and 25 minutes long. Quite long video, so I'm going to try to compress it and give you guys some perspective from the dealership's perspective, or some I don't know, some facts or some experience. Of course, you guys know my history. Worked for dealerships for quite a while, service department, service writer, service advisor, whatever you want to call it, depending on where you live. So this is just, like I said, one of those videos where I'll see it and then I'll give my 2 cents and probably give an explanation on what's going on with the dealership. So of course I take these videos where it's from the consumer's perspective, and then I'll try to give you guys some behind the scenes information that I believe is the issue or what happened on the dealership side. And of course, this isn't anything to justify the dealership's issues or what happened. I believe I have a good idea what's going on, but let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, you guys can watch the whole video. Bayside Harley VA, worst experience in my life. So it's an hour and 25 minutes long video, guys. So let's try to compress it. Of course, he starts off with the Harley Davidson certified bike that he purchased. Of course, I believe he got it for $15,000, give or take, 20,000 miles. And I mean, people, for some reason, it's the same thing with the whole auto industry and everything. They hear certified pre-owned. You know, that's what they call it, pre-owned. They never say used. They say pre-owned or pre-loved or, whatever. But certified, it isn't anything like a label or anything. Yes, you'll get extra warranty or extended warranty, or I believe you could add extended warranty to the bike if it's a certified pre-owned. Something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember off the top of my head. I made a video on this, I believe last year when they started doing it. But pre-owned, certified pre-owned doesn't really mean anything. All right. What it means, it did a safety inspection and it passed. It passed the safety inspection, and it meets 2 certain criterias. 2 of them. It needs to meet years, which is, I believe, like I said, I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe it's 5 years. It needs to be within 5 years, and it needs to have less than a certain amount of miles. I believe it's 30,000 miles, or is it 100,000 miles? Man, I can't remember. I should have done a little bit. I should have freshened up on this information, but that's all it is. It needs to pass a safety inspection, and it needs to meet those 2 requirements: age and miles. And that's pretty much it. That's all it is. That's what makes it a certified, is just that. Most of the bikes that the dealerships do have that are used, of course, or pre-owned, whatever you want to call it, if they have more than the miles or they're older than 5 years, I mean, they're still passing the safety inspection. Okay, if you guys see my videos, I made a video about the budget for these, because I used to write these work orders. Basically, a dealership takes a trade-in, or they bought a bike off of the auction, and what they do, of course, they give it to the service department. They give them a budget depending on the dealership. Some dealerships have higher budgets, some dealerships have less, but typically it's about $1,300. So you have that budget of $1,300 to address all of the safety concerns with that bike to get it to pass. All right. So what is a passing as far as, the wear and tear items? The thread, of course, it needs to have, what is it, like 20% of life? That's the thing. I mean, that people don't understand. If a bike has 50% of life of thread life still on the tires, technically it still passes the safety inspection. Okay, it needs to have, I believe, 30% or 20%, less than 30 or 20% for it to be addressed. And then of course you use that $1,300 towards that budget to fix that issue. Same thing with the brakes. All right, if you buy a used bike from the dealership and it has 40% of life or 50% of life, that still passes the safety inspection, even if it is a certified pre-owned. Like I mentioned, it needs to be at least 30% for brakes for it to be addressed and fixed. Same thing with the brake fluid. If it's 5 years old, like I mentioned, I believe it's 5 years of age. So I'm just saying, for bikes that are not pre-owned or bikes that fall out of the pre-owned category, if the bike is older than 5 years and it still has the original brake fluid, then that would be one of those safety concerns. If the bike has 4 years of life and it's right at that peak where the brake fluid, technically it doesn't have to be changed, then the dealership can sell you the bike with 4-year-old brake fluid. All right, that still passes the safety inspection. Okay, these are the things that I mean, I guess the dealership should address, but technically it does not fail the safety inspection. You guys are getting the point, I believe. So let's go ahead and just play this real quick. I'm not gonna play his whole video because if you guys want to see it, you guys could go to his channel and check it out.
Turn the steering wheel all the way to, I'm gonna turn the handlebars rather, lock out to the left. Everything dies.
All right, so that's crazy. All right, so obviously the mechanic that passed this bike did not, this isn't part of the safety inspection for the mechanics to turn the bike on and turn it, full tilt to the left or to the right. So this is 100% on the mechanic and on the service department, because they passed this bike. And it's got more issues than just this, because he does complain about the brakes. And like I mentioned, I already mentioned that as long as it's got 30% of life, it's still considered safe, and it will still pass the certified label. It will still get the certified label. This is a huge one because, from what I believe, the issue is, of course, I think there's a wire being pinched. So whoever did the bars, or whoever did, any type of work on it, DIY guy probably, somehow they messed up, and like this, I believe it's shorting. So this is a fire hazard in my experience, and this is 100% on the mechanic for I don't know. It's tough. Like I said, there isn't really a test for this. All right, so this is me now seeing, of course, the actual footage of the brake pad, and that is way below maybe even 10%. That should have been changed. All right, if it's that's a safety issue, man. This is bad, guys. All right, I didn't see the image. I don't know what happened. I didn't see the image my first time watching the video, but seeing this, this is absolutely, this fails the safety inspection 100%. Now, as far as the concerns of the maintenance, like you mentioned, the 20K service, technically it's a 3-hole change, and man, the service department really messed this one up, and I'm just surprised. I wasn't expecting. I was expecting this to be at least 30%, but this is absolutely 5%. This is a safety concern. This is a safety hazard. This is nuts. I'm just shocked. That's crazy. And as far as, of course, he mentioned the broken console on the inner fairing. That's not a safety issue. That's an as-is problem. As is. The dealership has no requirement to fix that. I'm not entirely sure. Somebody said in the comments that he bought the bike sight unseen or something like that. But if it's labeled as certified pre-owned, you expect, especially this, to be met. So, and as far as the 20K service, I don't know if he was told they did the 20K service or anything like that. If the oil looks old, of course, then the mechanic will change the oil. I'm just not sure as far as, you know, the full service. All right. As far as, you know, the dealership, I believe they should have done the three-hole service on it. I think they should have done it. So I'm not too sure if they did or if they didn't. And based off of, you know, this information, who knows what they did, because they failed this. They failed the electronics. It's just, you know, one thing after another, and it just absolutely sucks. This is crazy that they're selling bikes like this. I'd be very concerned buying a bike at Bayside Harley. That's crazy. Let's get back onto the video. All right, this is a long video, so I'm just gonna end it here. All right, so based off of my own experience, I believe the service department completely dropped the ball on this one. The mechanic that passed this safety inspection, they messed up. So I don't know if the shop foreman was off that week. I don't know if he was sick or what happened. Who knows? But it looks like maybe the master mechanics were busy with their own services, probably their own work orders. They probably had 20K service lined up. Like I said, the safety inspection gets done by pretty much everybody. Most of the time, you know, if they're short on staff, a lube guy can do the safety inspection on the bike. So maybe the lube guy, man, it's just tough because that's basically your basic training is the safety inspection. You do that on everything, on all the bikes. If you're a lube guy, master mechanic, shop foreman, whatever, you're doing the safety inspection. And the reason why that's, you know, the foundation is because that's their bread and butter. That's how they make their money. This is how the dealerships make money. This is how the service guys make money. This is how the mechanics make money. All right, they upsell tires, brakes, flushes, 3-hole change. They upsell the brake fluid, tires that I think I already mentioned. They upsell all of that. That's part of the upsell. That's how they make their money. That's how they make their commission. So for them to miss specifically that rear brake, I don't know what happened. There really is an excuse. And, you know, based off of how he was being passed around from the sales department to the service department, I believe the sales department was pretty much saying, hey, service guys, this is your issue. You messed this up. You guys got to make it right. The service department, they're pretty much like, no. You got to give us a work order. You got to give us a bill order, a purchase order. You got to, you got to give us money so we could, fix this. And unfortunately, both sides, they just decided, hey, I'm not taking this loss. The sales department, they did what they were supposed to do. They gave it to the service department. They passed it. They certified, pre-owned it. It should have been the service department losing money on this, but they're just not having it. So somehow the mechanic messed up. This isn't on the service guys as far as the writers and the managers, but the management, I don't know. They should have probably, it's tough, guys. It's really tough because to force the mechanic to fix this, and the issue, the other issue is if the lube guy did this safety inspection and they passed it and it had, of course, all these issues, they're not going to give it to the lube guy to fix it. All right. This issues has to be done by someone who has a little bit more experience. So maybe the master tech or the shop foreman, but that's the problem. All right. The issue is there isn't going to be no work order. There's not going to be a purchase order. There's not going to be none of that. All right. Cause the sales department, they don't want to hear anything about money because this is the service department's issue. All right. And if the lube guy, they're not qualified to make these repairs, So technically, one of the master techs they would have to work for free. Imagine that. All right, you're doing your job. You have the rookie or the noob that made this big old mess up. Now you have to clean it up. It's not fair for the mechanic, and it's not fair for the service department. You guys can share your thoughts and your 2 cents, but as a service writer, I'm not forcing my shop foreman or my master tech to work for free. They got to get paid. The service department doesn't want to pay, and the sales department does not want to pay. But 100%, it's just the service manager should have, I don't know. They should have fixed this. But of course, you have a budget, and it seemed like it was way over that $1,300. And of course, the sales department, they're not gonna spend a penny when it was the service department's issue. So it just absolutely sucks for the consumer. This gentleman, it absolutely sucks that he liked the bike, he wanted the bike, but the cost of it was going to be too great. As far as switching the financing information to one another, this is tough, guys. This is absolutely tough. The finance, the sales department, because you have registration, you have fees, you have taxes. There's a lot of stuff, and it's not as for some reason people think the dealership, they can just willy-nilly swap. Because I've mentioned issues before with the service department dropping vehicles, and the customers want brand new vehicles. The lift accidentally, the mechanic drops the vehicle, it gets damaged. Of course, the service department will get it fixed, but the customers, they believe that the dealership can just swap a few numbers and then give them brand new vehicles. It doesn't work like that. So, I don't know. It is what it is. I don't know if he got his full refund. I believe he did, but man, it's a long video, and there's just so many issues with this one. And like I mentioned in the comments, people were just saying that I guess he should have looked at the bike before picking it up, or he bought the bike sight unseen, and he really relied on the certified pre-owned label, which really doesn't mean anything except for, like I already mentioned at the beginning of the video, miles, life, and the safety inspection. Those three, if it meets those 3 requirements, then it's labeled certified pre-owned. For the most part, it seemed like he was addressing, rust, dings, dents, scratches. None of that stuff matters, okay? The bike has 20,000 miles. It's not going to be pristine, and certified pre-owned doesn't mean it's going to be a pristine bike in any way, shape, or form, okay? It's going to have a lot of issues. He's complaining about, in this, part of the video, he was complaining about how dirty the bike is. That's one of the things that should have been addressed. I don't know, as far as the detailing, I don't think they do a full detail. They almost never do. They just do a basic wash. So I'm pretty sure they didn't remove the saddlebags. They didn't, do any of that. They just do an exterior wash, and that's pretty much it. And you get the bike. It's not a full, a full detail. They don't really do that. Not with these pre-owned or used bikes. They don't do a full polish, buff, nothing like that. It's just a basic wash. I think they should have probably cleaned the clean that rear wheel, but like I said, it's not really a full detail. It's just a basic wash, and I'm pretty sure that's the way he got it. And then of course he took it home and he started taking stuff apart, and he started noticing, holy crap, man, this thing's really, really dirty. But it's not a full detail, okay? And as far as the rust, it's a 20,000 mile bike. It's gonna have rust. It doesn't compromise the riding on the bike or anything like that. So anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. This is originally a 45-minute video, so I'm gonna, if you guys are watching it, I probably cut out about 10 or 20 minutes if I'm lucky. So life's a risk. Get out there and ride. Later.